Well, as we await more information on the motivation behind this attack, the possible link to terrorism is raising new questions about how national security threats will be dealt with under a Donald Trump presidency. For more on that, we're joined by Pete Hoekstra, former Michigan congressman and an informal advisor to the president-elect. Congressman, good to see you tonight. So let's start there. How do you see things changing? This is the first possible terror attack we have seen since Donald Trump was elected as our next president. How do you see him changing the landscape that President Obama has put into place when it comes to fighting terror?
Well, I think the first thing that you're going to see is you're going to see a President Donald Trump, along with his national security advisor and defense team, is they're going to be much more aggressive overseas. They are not going to allow ISIS or Al-Qaeda or Al-Shabaab or these terrorist organizations to have safe havens in 5 different countries. There's a caliphate that was basically the size of Indiana in Iraq and Syria. 2 failed states, Iraq and Syria. Libya is a failed state. Yemen's a failed state.
Let me just stop you there. Let me just stop you there so you can get specific.
Yeah.
Get specific, yes. Because, you know, President Obama did fight ISIS to some extent late in the game, and they've lost a bunch of territory in Iraq, as you know. But Donald Trump he's largely non-interventionalist. As he put it, I'm the one who wants to keep us out of these wars. So what specifically do you see him doing overseas to control ISIS? Because thus far he said he has a plan, but he hasn't revealed it.
No, number one, you have to recognize President Obama created this situation. When he came into office, Iraq was a relatively stable state. Syria was a stable state. Libya was. Yep. I mean, this president created the circumstances where these countries where Gaddafi, Assad, and others were keeping the lid on the garbage can of radical jihadists. He lifted the lid off by getting rid of Gaddafi.
Now here we are to almost 2017. So what is President Trump going to do?
Well, what the President-elect has made clear. Like I said, he's not going to allow these failed states to exist, and he will partner with people in the region. This current President, Obama, has been reluctant to equip and train the Kurds, to train and equip these tribes in Iraq to defeat ISIS in Iraq. He would not have taken out Gaddafi, and yeah, he has to develop a strategy to go back in and allow a stable government to come back into place in Libya and in Syria, and it's a very deep hole for this president to dig out of.
What about,
the second thing,
I'm short on time, but I got to ask you domestically. Yeah. But I got to ask, I'm short on time, but I have to ask you domestically what you see President Donald Trump doing differently versus Barack Obama.
Barack Obama has created what he called countering violent extremism, where he equates every threat potentially in the United States as having the same priority. Donald Trump will focus on the threat from radical jihadism, because that is the most significant threat that we face today, and he will start doing some of the things that Peter King has outlined in terms of surveillance and police activities against this very, very specific threat, and it will be a priority.
Surveil Muslim communities?
He will surveil those groups that he believes are the threat, and those are the groups that are linked to radical jihadist tendencies and radical jihadist philosophies, and they are linked to the Muslim Brotherhood.
Former Congressman Pete Hoekstra, great to see you. Thanks for being here, sir.
Hey, great. Thank you.